Let's get you scoring a ton more points by using some after your man basketball moves. I'm gonna show you some moves that you can use after you beat your defender, you get into the paint, and then there's that second defender. I'm gonna give you some simple ways to get past them, fake them out of their shoes, get your shot off over them, around them, all kinds of stuff. Coach Jesse Minch here with Get Handles Basketball, where I show you how to play like the pros. If that's something you're looking to do, make sure you click that subscribe button and that little bell icon so you can catch the newest videos the second they come out. And if there's any other parts of your game you're looking to improve, make sure you search my channel. Good chance I already got a video on it, but if for some reason I don't, leave me a comment down below and let me know. I'll try to get you a video ASAP. First, after your man move, you get into the lane. Let's say there's a defender about 5-10 feet away from the basket. What are you gonna do to get your shot off? Well, one thing I've always liked doing is just nice simple pass fake. Easy thing you can put into the mix to start faking out some of those defenders, especially if you set this up previously with getting past your man and then maybe kicking it out to a teammate on the perimeter or to a teammate down in the post. You can use this to start to get the defender to jump this way, create yourself an easy layup opportunity. Now, some key points though you gotta make sure you're paying attention to so you're not traveling on this and so you're getting that defender to bite on it. Number one, when you're doing the pass fake, don't look at your defender to see how he's gonna react. Big no-no, big mistake I see a lot of players do. Make sure you're looking over here. Little hack for you, there doesn't even have to be a teammate over there. A lot of times this defender is gonna be so focused on you that he doesn't even know what's happening over here. So all you really gotta do is make it seem like there's someone over here. Throw that pass fake, and the other key tip you wanna pay attention to is that you're extending the ball a little bit, right? And do it quick. It can't be too long and slow, because if you do that, he's gonna have a chance to swipe down at the basketball and steal it. And try to make sure you're doing it on that first step, because if you don't, you're gonna get called for a travel. If I'm on the left-hand side with the left hand with the basketball, I wanna do it with my left foot, so that way I can get him to jump that way, I can take my second step and get that easy layup. One simple thing you can do to practice this is just set up a D-man like this or a cone, really doesn't really matter. It's just something around 10-15 feet out so you can get the feel for the steps and the coordination of going into this, looking that way, and then getting your eyes quickly locked back in on the rim, figuring out your positioning and how those steps are gonna feel to get that layup off. To give you a couple quick variations on this, I've seen players do more of like a backhand pass fake like that, so they don't use both hands. That's a little bit more advanced. You have to have a little bit more ball control, or even like one hand like this. That's a little bit flashier. Your coach might not like that. Some things to keep in mind, some ways to mix things up a little bit, but at the end of the day, the idea is that you're looking over here, moving the ball a little bit to sell that fake and taking your second step for that layup. This next move is gonna have a similar effect to the last move, but it's probably gonna work a little better closer to the basket because your steps aren't gonna be quite as explosive and as long, but you're gonna have a really good chance of faking this defender out a little bit more. And it's the Euro step. What you wanna do is, you could set it up with a bunch of different ways. I mean, you could be dribbling with this hand and go into it, or you could be dribbling with this hand and go into it, but the idea is that you're gonna send a fake in one direction. So it's kind of like the pass fake, but instead of making the fake with the ball, we're gonna make the fake with the foot. That's your first step, right? So that makes your second step kind of awkward as far as what step you're jumping off of, because if I come here, here, now I have to jump off this foot, right? So it's a goofy footed layup. Because of that, what a lot of players will do is they'll come from it and finish goofy hand also because it feels more comfortable. So if they're jumping with this leg up, normally they're used to doing the layup with this hand, so they'll use that hand. So you would be jumping with that right hand on the left side, or you could flip everything around. All of these moves really, you can flip them around, right? And you could come this way, left hand, left foot lifted. But the key tips you want to pay attention to is you want to make sure you're selling that fake enough to where you get the defender to bite. You have to try to step at least to the center of their body, or try to even get a little bit outside that. That's gonna give them more reason to respect that step, jump this way, and now create that path for that easy layup. The other thing you wanna pay attention to is that if you're gonna do it tight to the defender, so you're body to body to him when you're doing this, you gotta be ready to take a little contact. Good chance you'll pick up the foul call as long as you don't go directly into them. You gotta make it apparent to the ref that you're trying to make this angle around them, not directly into them. Big difference there. Be strong with the basketball, grip it hard with both hands, and play around with things like what James Harden and Kyrie Irving will do. They'll do different gathers, keeping it tight to their body, putting it up high, putting it down low. Just wherever the defender is trying to go for the ball, move the ball away from there. And when they go for the basketball, move it a little bit so they end up hitting your arm instead of the basketball. Make sure you're not over committing on this step to the point where you can't spring back to this direction. So you want this step to be pretty big, but you don't want it to be so big that it's all the way over here and now you have like no strength to come back this way. You could also even work on doing goofy foot, but regular hand. That's something a little more challenging, might feel awkward, but something you can definitely practice and get down. Next move I know you're gonna love, but before we get into it, click that like button if you're digging the video so far. Again, you wanna be kind of closer to the hoop, sort of like the Euro step, because we're gonna almost do like a Euro step. You can do some different variations as far as the footwork goes, but it's more of a ball movement type of thing, and it's the behind the back handoff. I've had a lot of people accuse me of doing this to try to like show off in more like serious games, but I've never looked at it that way. I really look at this as being a great move to get around the defender while keeping the basketball protected. I mean, it's not gonna get any more protected than here. Even if I pull the ball back here, the defender still has that opportunity to get into the basketball. But if I have it behind me, they really can't get to it anywhere. That's why I really like the behind the back. It allows me to stay facing towards the basket. I don't have to turn into this protection, so I can keep attacking towards the basket and get really tight to that defender, which also allows me now when I get past the defender to get an easier shot. If I'm trying to do more of a Euro step or of a handoff here and I have to take this first step further away from them, they can slide with me more easily to contest it. Whereas the behind the back, I can start really tight to them and then get past them for the layup. That's the key difference. Some things you want to pay attention to make this effective. Sometimes if I overuse this move, what I'll find is that defenders start picking up on it. You can still usually continue to use it if you're paying attention to this. Don't pull the ball back here too far, and don't behind the back slow. Because what will happen is that after a while, they'll see the move coming, and if you're too slow with this ball movement, they'll pick it as you're bringing it back here. Try to keep the ball tight to your body and make that handoff quick. Try to get it from one hand to the other as quick as you can. It's good to set up that step out this way, kind of Euro step with it, or at least make that last dribble in that direction and then take your 2 steps back this way. And as you'll notice, you're finishing goofy foot, regular hand. Next move is one of my personal favorites. This one's awesome for keeping your dribble alive, and it's versatile. You can do it further from the basket, closer to the basket, so this is good for pick and roll situations. You get past your defender and cover a lot of ground and get more into the paint. Good for that situation as well. And it's the inside out dribble. Key tips on it though is how you're gonna execute it. When you're coming from maybe the defender approaching you more towards the perimeter, 15 feet from the rim, you wanna make it a quick fake with the opposite foot coming out and try to keep your movement going with this one. That's what makes it kind of deadly, is it gives that quick fake, change of speed, change of direction, and then boom, you can explode back this way. A couple other things you can do to tweak it: come from this and make it look almost like you're gonna pass by looking over here, or try to make it really seem like you're gonna try to drive past the defender by looking here. But what your eyes are doing is really important to help get that defender to bite on that fake, or at the very least, it's really good for freezing them up because they don't really know what's gonna happen from there. And you can use this even if you get into the paint and there's a defender waiting in even further. Great move that you still use to get that quick change of speed, change of direction. Especially on those big guys, they're not gonna be as nimble on their feet to make those quick changes of direction. So you can come from it and really be able to get past them and keep your dribble alive and keep your options open, which is why I like it. Let's say you don't fake them out and they stay back in front of you here. Well, then you can just retreat back out quick and see what your best option is from there. Next move is super simple, but super deadly. You can use this a little bit further from the basket. I would say 10 to 15 feet range is good, even a little bit further. Anywhere closer than 10 feet though is probably gonna be too close for this to really work. If you can, try to hit a couple jump shots. This will help set this up. And from there, all you're gonna do is hezzy and then go into your next move. To really take all those next level, what I would recommend you add into the mix is make sure you're stopping with your feet a little more close to shooting position. Get that offhand close to the basketball, eyes to the rim for more of a shot fake hezzy. That'll either get that defender jumping up on you, and then from there you can kind of read if they're too far to this side, cross over this way, or if they jump out to you too far to this side, blow by on this way. Left or right, that's all it is. But it all starts with that shot fake hezzy being convincing, making sure there's that change of speed. If you're coming from it and you're coming here and going like this, you might get the defender, but if your feet are continually moving, it's not as convincing, right? It looks like I'm kind of doing a half-hearted shot fake hezzy, but I'm still planning on going past the defender. Don't look at your defender to see what he's gonna do. Look at the rim. Otherwise, you're not gonna get them to bite as much. And you can use your peripheral vision to to see what the defender is doing. You'll naturally be able to see where the defender is because they're right in your line of sight. And I've got one more bonus move for you to deal with smaller defenders that get in the paint. Sometimes those small defenders can be kind of pesky when you get closer to the rim because you don't expect it, right? I'm gonna give you a simple move that you can use to catch them off guard, and this can even work for players that are a little bit taller than you. The one that you probably don't expect, right, is the little guys to steal the basketball or block your shot when you get into the paint, right? Most people don't really account for that, but I bet it's happened to you once or twice. It's probably drove you nuts. 9 times out of 10 when that's happening, it's because you're playing in their space. If they're lower to the ground and shorter, they're usually going to try to swipe at the basketball down here. So the simple solution is don't have the basketball down here. Hold it up high to bring that ball over the top. Something you want to keep in mind is just because they're short doesn't mean they can't get to the ball up here. They can still jump. So you don't want to be like holding the ball up high here and keeping it in one spot. You want to either do sort of a swim move over the top to move it across quickly, or on those 2 steps, making sure that you're moving the basketball. James Harden and Kyrie Irving are both masters. They'll move the ball, wave it all around. What that's gonna do is if I move the basketball and they go for it, instead of hitting it here, if I move my arm, boom, now they hit my arm instead of the basketball. Easy way to pick up some foul calls, and you can get some and ones. Key tips are holding it high, moving it quick, not just keeping it all in one spot. Now, one last thing I've got for you to really help you take your scoring around the rim next level. There's 3 things that keep almost all players from being able to score more around the rim. I've worked with thousands of players, and this is something I see affects pretty much every player I've dealt with, from beginner up to advanced. If you click the top link in the description down below and pop in your email, I'll email you that. It's a free video series that will show you what these 3 things are and how to eliminate those issues quickly. Just click that link, pop in your email, I'll send it right away. It is 100% free. And if you found this video helpful and you haven't yet, make sure you click that like button, that subscribe button, and that little bell icon, and check out this video and this playlist. You're gonna dig those as well, I'm sure of it. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more, and make moves today.